And everything played like a movie, slow motion. And I started seeing light going towards this tunnel. Best way I can explain it. And then once I get to the light, I hear these words, "Not yet." And I come back to my senses. And I come to myself and I see myself flying through the air. Hi, my name is Elijah Burachek, and the story that I'm about to tell you guys is what happened. And I sit in this chair right now, and I still cannot believe that this actually really happened to me. I grew up in a Christian home, Baptist. I was one of 10 siblings to my parents, born in Moldova. I came to the United States when I was 8, back in the 90s. I was very physically gifted, talented, strong kid, happy. My mom said I was the child that always did whatever she asked me to do, never asked any questions. 7th grade, I made the newspaper. I ran a mile in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And I played competitive soccer. I played for the Olympic development team. I had offers when I was 15 years old, 15, 16, 17, to go play professionally. And my parents would say no, because you're gonna go into the world. I took that and then grew some bitterness and resentment, and I think that was the turning point to where I started rebelling. And got involved with some friends, as I thought they were friends, where fast money, cars, and drugs were involved. I went from pursuing my dreams and my goals to become a professional soccer player to just doing what I have to do to make fast money, and so I can get out of the house and make my own decisions. Fast forward, I ended up losing everything I had. The little that I had, I lost everything. Nothing that I got fast stayed. Everything left, like that saying, sand between the fingers. It was just gone, nothing to show for. And I was in a motorcycle, and I got into a motorcycle accident. And I T-boned a lady. I flew off the motorcycle, and I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I saw the things that I did when I was a child. I saw the good things I did and how I listened to my parents. And I also saw the things that I did wrong. And everything played like a movie, slow motion. And I started seeing light going towards this tunnel. Best way I can explain it. And then once I get to the light, I hear these words, "Not yet." And I come back to my senses, and I come to myself and I see myself flying through the air, just over and over again. And I landed into a creek. That's when God spoke to me in a way that I couldn't understand. Those words, "not yet," stick to me till this day. I knew it wasn't my time. But in that split second, I repented. I tried the best I can to kind of repent and say I was sorry and all of that stuff. Last second salvation, if you will. From there, it was a year of recovery. And a doctor said I would never never do anything. I wouldn't be able to play sports again. I injured my leg, my knee, and I was persistent. I said, I'm still gonna play professional soccer, and I did. I played professional soccer 1 year for Agro in Chisinau, Moldova, and then 1 year for Rapid Bucharest. I was on the second team, doing really well, scoring goals, and was on my way to making myself a pretty good contract. And then I get injured on the same knee that I had surgery from my motorcycle accident. And they told me, well, we can give you a surgery and you play, but after your career, you're most likely gonna need a full knee replacement. Some tragic things happened. I lost my uncle, which was my manager and sponsor, and I decided to end my soccer career and take my father's advice and go home. Still, I always had resentment and bitterness towards my parents because they didn't let me go sooner. I always blamed that if they would have let me go sooner before the motorcycle accident, I would have never stole, I would have never got involved in the wrong crowd. I would have been a professional soccer player at the highest level. And I carried that weight. I carried that inside. I carried that bitterness and not dealing with it, not knowing how to deal with that. I carried that to my marriage. I gave my life to Jesus. I got baptized, but I never dealt with that pain. I never dealt with the resentment and unforgiveness towards my parents for not letting me go at a younger age when I had a chance. And I went into a marriage with a broken heart. And in my marriage, because of that, I put my wife through hell. I put my wife through things that she didn't deserve to be put through. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know I need forgiveness. I didn't know I needed forgiveness for myself. I was trying to cope with alcohol. I drank every single day, maybe for about a year. That didn't help. I found out my wife and I were having problems, issues because of that. And I would try to, be tough, be a man, and just go to work. And I thought providing for her and financially was what a man's supposed to do, because that's what my father did. He always provided. So I wanted to do the same thing for her, for my family. I drove a truck, got my Class A license. I was driving for my dad. I would go on a trip for weeks, come back. The whole time I was back, I would drink. Trying to fill that void, trying to feel that pain. That didn't help. And one day, I had a friend over, and he introduced me to Oxycontin. And that's where everything fell apart. I tried something for the first time that was able to numb out that pain. That's the best way I can put it. It was something for the first time where I could take it and it would numb it for long enough where I couldn't remember. Just let it go. Just 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. The moment I was on those drugs, I felt numb. I felt good. I went from being 235 pounds of solid muscle to 187 pounds of skin and bones in a matter of 2 years. I would hide it pretty well. Nobody know what happened. Nobody know I was using. My wife didn't know until it came to where it was noticeable. I went to rehab 3-4 times. 3-4 times. I'm gonna get better. I would go to rehab 6 months, get strong, work out, come back. I'm gonna do this. I got this. I'm gonna do this. And fall into temptation, the first argument, and go get drugs. That happened over and over until my wife was pregnant with my son, Ethan. When my son Ethan was born, that's when Oxycontin started costing anywhere from $60 to $80 a pill. And it got too expensive, even at the good money that I was making as a truck driver. It got too expensive for me and you couldn't find it. So switched over to heroin. And when my wife found out that I was doing heroin, she kicked me out of the house. That's when everything went down the drain. I lost hope. One thing is my parents never divorced, so that was like death for me. When I got kicked out of the house, that was something I couldn't bear. So I did as much drugs as I could to numb out the pain that I was in. And it didn't help. It didn't help. Went to rehab another couple times. That didn't help. Same thing. First argument, back to drugs. First argument. That even before the argument, I already saw myself driving to the drug dealer's house. I already knew what was going to happen. And this happened for 4 years. 4 years, I was separated from my wife and children. In the period of this 4 years, what I'm going to share right now, some things are very horrific, but they happen. And there's hope. There's hope. One day, I was in my car on 16th Street. I got a nice batch of heroin, and I was so eager to take a shot. I stopped in the middle of 16th Street, and I lit up the spoon, took a shot, cleaned it through the cotton, put it in my vein, and shot it. I passed out, everything blacked out, and I see these women. They're yelling and praying and yelling and praying, and I'm walking over to them. I'm like amongst them. They're right here. The car's right here, and they're right here banging on the window, yelling, praying, God, no, save him. And I'm like, what are you guys yelling at? What are you guys doing? What are you guys yelling at? And I'm looking at what they're yelling at, and I see myself through the window. I have a needle in my arm. I'm passed out like this, with my mouth fully open, and no life. And I hear the words, not yet. And I come to my senses. I'm looking out the window, and the ladies are screaming, you were dead, you were dead, you were dead. And I'm like, trying to get breath. I was trying to breathe, and I see the needle in my arm. When I was moving my arm, it kept poking me. So I took the needle out of my arm. I drove off. Another time it happened when I was in a hotel room, and we were getting high. Same thing. We got a pretty good batch of some really raw heroin. And same thing, I just don't remember this time which arm I was in, but I take a shot, inject it in one of the veins, and I pass out. And then I hear the people that I was doing drugs with talking what's happening. I was hearing my friend in the bathroom talking about what they're gonna do. And I seen him take a shot where he usually says that he doesn't take a shot, which is like in his neck. Other guys, 2 guys in the room, said that they're gonna put my body in the carpet, roll my body in the carpet, and dump it out at the airport. So they don't have that death on them. And the girl, there was a girl, she was one of the prostitutes. She got the idea to go in the fridge and get ice and put it on my back. And I see her doing that. I see everything that's happening. I see my body. I'm laying there lifeless like this, and I'm purple. I'm purple, lifeless. I don't know exactly how long I was lifeless for, but my body was purple and I was dead. Now the people that were in the hotel room, if you watch this video, comment, share, reach back to me somehow. I'd like to talk to you and thank you, especially the girl that put ice down my back. Same as the ladies that prayed for me and yelled for me to wake up on 16th Street. Please comment and share and please reach out to me. I thank God for you guys. I still can't believe that this happened. It's like I'm telling someone else's story. I wake up, I come to my senses when I hear those words again, not yet. And I start telling them, well, you were doing this in the bathroom. When you say you don't do that, you guys wanted to roll me up in the carpet and throw me at the Sacramento airport on the creek or the river. And they're like, well, what do you expect us to do? You're white, we're black. Cops are gonna show up, we're gonna get arrested. I was like, makes sense. I didn't hold no grudges towards them or anything like that. After about the, 15th, 20th, 25th time I got arrested, nothing, rehab, nothing was helping. I had to cry. I had to cry to God. Excuse me for saying it how it is, but I need people to know the truth. I was a person very angry, and every other word was a cuss word out of my mouth. And I said, God, if you're effing real, show me. Show me where I'm gonna die. 3 minutes later, I get into a high-speed chase. And I'm gonna make this a long story short. I didn't get caught that time, but I did park the car at a friend's house that happened to be also a dealer. And probation showed up in the morning. Obviously, they found out whose car that was, but they picked me up the next day. I ended up in jail. The best thing that happened to me was me going to jail. And that night I fell asleep and I saw a vision for the first time. It was me in my car asking God if he's real. And ended up in jail was him helping me to get my attention. He showed me a vision, everything that was gonna happen in my life. And it was unbelievable. I had a vision that I was gonna be sober. That was impossible for me. I had a vision that I was gonna go to Africa. I didn't even like African people at the time. Well, before, I didn't really like them. And I wake up from this vision that I was having, dream, and I felt God's presence for the first time in my life like never before. I felt his presence so much, and I had a bunkie. I was on the first, he was on the second. He starts screaming like he's on fire. Jumps, hits the table, hits the toilet, runs and pushes the button. Help, help. They're like, "Sir, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." "What's wrong with him?" I said, "I don't know." They closed the door. And I heard a voice. He said, "You asked if I am real. If I am real, here I am." I heard God's voice. It was the same voice that told me not yet 5 times. I recognized that voice. You cannot, you cannot not know God's voice. And I said, "God, if this is you just take my life and do whatever you want with it. Whatever you want." I was like, "Well, I'm just warning you, I don't have much to offer to you." It was like, this body's useless, you know. I weighed maybe 180 pounds, 183. And I heard God laugh. I heard God laugh. From that moment on, God was with me. And I told him, "I will give you all my life, not just good parts or the bad parts." I told him everything. And I didn't have much to offer. But he took it. He took it. I started having visions every night after that. I see miracles, wonders happen in jail, praying for people, being healed, delivered. Many things happen in jail, wonderful things. Wonderful things happen. The people that go to jail, they understand. I used to run with the woods, so you couldn't associate with the blacks. You couldn't share a meal with the blacks. The politics in there is just ugly, and you have to choose a side when you go in. And after I gave my life to Christ, I said, I'm done. I'm no longer part of any of this. And they're, "Well, you can't do that." I said, "I don't care. I belong to Christ. I don't belong to no whites, no others, no blacks, no nothing." And the thing that it's so beautiful. Someone that used to be my enemies, you know. There's a name, man, Red. He was in charge of the blacks. Wonderful man. Red, if you're watching this, I love you, brother. He stood up and he said, they used to call me Big Russia in jail. I'd put on weight quick. So my nickname was Big Russia. And he said, if anybody messes with Big Russia, they're messing with the blacks. He's ours now. He comes up to me and says, he goes, "Just do what you do." I didn't realize I was ministering to people. I didn't realize I was ministering and preaching and teaching and loving on everybody. It didn't matter about the color. It didn't matter about the race. It didn't matter what gang you're a part of. Jesus transformed my life in a matter of weeks. That no rehab, nothing. Nothing. No program could have done for me. I gained 30 pounds in 2.5 weeks. I didn't look like a drug addict anymore. people could tell that God was with me. Every time I opened the Bible, I would pass out. I would just wake up, my face is on the Bible. What's going on? I take cookies. Thank you for my family. They would send me commissary, so I was living good in there. I had cookies, coffee, drinking coffee after coffee, trying to stay awake. Turn the next page. Sure enough, I wake up getting my face in the Bible. I don't know what that was about, but I realized with the little knowledge that I had that there's something in that book that the enemy does not want me to know. The more I read the book, the more I wanted to know Jesus. The more he revealed himself to me. Every single word that I read would go directly inside my spirit and became to life. Everything happened so fast. My lawyer, public defender, meets up with me and tells me, hey, I want to work. I want to take your case. He goes, they never caught you. It's all hearsay. I'm trying to build a reputation, and I want to take this case on. Would you let me be represent you? I said, sure, thank you. That would be great. And I'm reading the Bible, and all I kept seeing is tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth. And then right away, well, maybe just let the lawyer do his job right away, all these attacks. Maybe just let the system work itself out, you know? And before the preliminary hearing, my brother comes and visits me, and he tells me his testimony, how he told the truth. I'll let him share his testimony, but he lost his job because of it. And his testimony inspired me to move forward with the truth. Everything aligned so perfectly. On the way to my preliminary hearing, I was fasting for 3 days before that hearing. In my spirit, I kept saying, tell the truth, tell the truth. The truth will set you free. And on the other hand, the flesh was like, you're facing 5 to 10 years in prison if you get caught. If you get caught, you're gonna go to prison. If you get convicted, I had so many crimes already, and if I would've got this one, it carried 3, 5, max was 10. 3, 5, and 10. Not sure all the codes that comes with it, but that's what I was facing. And my lawyer tells me, we sit down, we start reading everything that happened. And what the judge was saying, everything was true. I went over 152 miles in a residential, ran over 8 stop signs, all that stuff. In the end, how do you plea? And my lawyer stands up and says, not guilty, Your Honor. And I'm in chains, wearing my orange jumpsuit. My hands are handcuffed, my feet are handcuffed, and I have a chain connecting the 2 cuffs together. And I said, Your Honor, can I speak? And he said, of course you can. And I stand up and I say, Your Honor, I recently gave my life to Jesus. And I'm not gonna go to trial, put my hand on the Bible and lie. I said, Your Honor, whatever deal you have for me today, I will take it. I will take it. And I knew that this meant 3 to 5 years. But I knew this inside my heart. I knew this, if I don't say anything and go and get released and go into the street, God's not going to be with me, because he cannot be where the truth is not. And I said, I would rather do 5 to 10 years in prison and be with God than get out and be without him. I had a flash, a vision, what would happen if I would go into the world without God, and life without God is just not worth living. When I said this, Your Honor, I will take whatever deal you want to give me today. For the first time, I felt Holy Spirit move inside a courtroom. And not inside a courtroom, but move like the wind. There's no windows. There's no AC that can blow that hard. But it felt like a gushing wind came in through the courtroom. And the lady that was typing, she starts bawling. She's like, everybody stop talking. I can't type. She needed tissues. Grab her tissues. My lawyer, he was white. He turned like purple. It's like everything's happening so fast. The judge stands up and he goes, wow. Out of the 30-something years, I've been a judge. No one's ever said this or done this in my courtroom. Out of the 1 year minimum that you would have been fighting your case through or from jail, let me tell you what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna give you 90 days with half time served. I was shocked. A weight of 200 pounds fell off my chest, off my back. I felt so free. I felt so free. The vision that God showed me that I'm gonna go to Africa was that much closer. Was that much closer. When he showed me that vision that I'm gonna go to Africa, I didn't know what it meant. But it was like a first love, like a love that I cannot explain, but I knew I had to do it, and I had to be there at any cost, at all costs. And they let me go, and I come to FFM. I remember Andre preaching. And this guy can get the crowd going for sure. I'm like, man, what a good preacher, you know, like wonderful man of God. And then I hear the words, who wants to go to Africa? And I'm like, my heart just starts pounding so fast. I'm like, I want to go to Africa after church. I'm like, how do I go to Africa? What do I need? And I have no money. I'm just got out of jail, just fresh out. I got $0, just a lot of debt. And miraculously started talking with my wife. And same time that this happened to me, God is working on my wife. Someone that I was 4 years legally separated from. I still can't believe this happened. But it happened. It really did happen. I'm sure a lot of you guys witnessed it. I asked money from my parents, from my siblings. No. It's like, I just need, give me a ticket. No. Because I've burnt those bridges. Every time I would get money from them, I would go get drugs. What's the difference this time? No, you went to jail, you went to rehab, you said you found Jesus before. What's the difference this time? Oh no, but this time it's for real. This time it's different. At all costs. At all costs. I knew I had to go. I'll share this. And I went to, by faith, I went to my probation. I said, I checked in. I look at my record. Like, what are you doing out? I start testifying about what Jesus did in my life. The probation officer puts her hands on her head. She said, You're not supposed to be out. How did you get out? Because you're supposed to be 1 year minimum in jail for a felony evading. You're not supposed to be out. I don't know what to do. And I needed a traveling permit document. Long story short, she gave it to me. As long as I can give her a ticket that I'm actually going to Africa. I started calling my sister from Oregon. Said, we're not going to give you money, but we'll buy you a ticket. And I said, that's great. That's great. And that was the beginning of great things of what God has been doing with my life and through my life. So this is where my favorite part comes in. Well, one of my favorites. My sister decides to buy me a ticket through my brother-in-law's a doctor. And he's like, hey, is there any way I can buy the ticket through the ministry? And I asked Alina, and somehow we were able to get the ticket. Because, like, again, nobody trusts me, you know? And it's understandable. All I know is I'm out. I'm not going to prison. And I'm going to Africa. And that's all I know. I'm going to Africa. And I'm like a kid, so excited that I'm going to Africa. There was nothing more important in my life but going to Africa, because that was the vision that God showed me when I was in jail. And this, I couldn't believe it. And now it's actually happening. And I'm just in shock how I got that permit, the traveling document. I have no idea, but I got it. By the grace of God, they gave it to me. We go to Africa, and we have these morning prayers that are so precious when we go there. The power of God is so special in Ethiopia. What I experienced in jail was one portion of his power and strength. What I experienced in Africa was something completely different. It was so strong, I felt like I can do anything. I felt like I can take on a lion, a bear, or Goliath. Wonderful prayers. And then at the night service, which we were prepared for, we're going to go and pray for the people. And I remember as if it was yesterday, the attacks right away. It's like Pastor Andre says, go out and pray for the people. And I feel like I'm stuck. I can't move. And all I kept hearing was my thoughts and the enemy's thoughts. Like, you're a drug addict. You're nobody. What are you doing in Africa? Who do you think you are praying for people? There's nothing's gonna happen. You're this and you're that, and use things that were true, but were from the past. And I went from being so bold to like a dog with his tail between the legs and just almost in fear. The oppression was so strong. I was just ready to give up. And then I'm like, wait a minute. A few months ago, I was a drug addict. God, you showed me this vision that I'm gonna be here. I'm here for a reason. I said, God, what am I doing here? You sent me here. I didn't even like African people, but you gave me a new heart. I was like, what am I doing here? What do you want me to do? Who do you want me to pray for? I got angry. I closed my eyes and I was waiting for his voice. I was waiting for something. And God says, I want you to pray for all of them. And the power of God fell upon me. And the love that I had for the people and the almost anger that I had for sin and the witchcraft that was upon them, that was oppressing them. I was back to being bold as a lion. And I just had tunnel vision of who to pray for. Miracles upon miracles upon miracles. What God did through me. People being delivered, people being healed. And I'm just running from row to row, row to row, row to row, row to row. And I come to my senses. There's no more people. I'm somewhere in a village and it's pitch dark, no lights. I'm like, oh, where am I? And I turn around and I hear music way far in the background. I'm like, what am I doing here? I start running back. I got a little scared. I run back. Everybody's in the bus waiting for me. Where were you? I said, praying for people. We've been waiting for you for, 10, 15 minutes. Nobody could find you. And that happened again and again and again. I couldn't control when the power of God fell upon me, the things that he wanted to do. I could not control it. But it's the best feeling in the world. So you guys could understand. All of the drugs and alcohol combined together doesn't equivalent to like 1 second of God in your life. In my life, I should say, not in your life, but he can be in your life too. Doesn't compare. There's nothing that compare. I want to share a testimony that what happened, what God started showing me after everything. I asked him to uproot everything that doesn't belong to him out of me. And he started showing that I had bitterness towards my parents, resentment for not letting me go. I had to let that out. I had to let that go. Once I understood and said that out of my body, get out. Other things, generational curses. My relationship with my parents has never been so good. I wish to say that everything's so easy, but it's not. Everything that I've done prior to surrendering my life to Christ, it's almost like a trail. And it took work. It took work. Africa was great. Was wonderful. I love Africa. Love the people. Love my brothers and sisters there. And after about the fourth time, I had bills and I had a family. And my wife's like, look, I get it. I get it that you want to go to Africa and stuff like that, but we have bills. We have bills to pay. We have children to take care of. And all I have is a bicycle. Just a bicycle that a friend sold to me. And I would use that bicycle to work construction, do demo work, and do the best I can to provide for my family with what I could. I rode that bicycle for a year until I got my license back. I tried to go back to what I knew how to do well, is driving a truck. The written test, I got 199. I missed maybe a couple questions. I aced it, no problem. In-cab inspection, everything passed. Driving, failed. Every single time, failed. My God, I need to provide for my family. I need to get this license. Failed. Every single time I would try to do it. The second time I get a permit, again failed. And once you fail 3 times, you have to take your permit again. So I realized that God didn't want me to get behind the wheel. I found a dispatch job. And from there, learned how to do that side of the business. And fast forward, now I have my own business. God has blessed me tremendously. The pain, the bitterness, the ugliness that was inside the devil always tried to bring that back. And each time I would have to check myself and surrender again and again and again. Not my way, but yours be done. I want to bring up something. When a heated moment would happen after my encounter with Christ, and I encountered Christ a little after my birthday in December 2016. And today is October the 18th, 2022. So many times the devil would bring up the past, like, oh, this and oh, that, and try to bring memories of hurt and pain and bitterness and almost trying to draw me towards back into that captivity, back into slavery, back into, hey, maybe go take another hit and stuff like that. That 2 years, 2017, 2018, 2 years, it was almost, I would have nightmares that I'm doing drugs. I wake up, sweats, no. 2 years I was being attacked. Every time the devil reminds you of your past, you start proclaiming what God did for you. So every time he would remind me, I'd say, Lord, thank you for delivering me. God, thank you for cleaning me. God, thank you for saving me. And it went from every night to once a week, once a month, once every couple months. And every time I would get reminded of that, I would praise God. I say, God, thank you for saving me. Thank you for delivering me. Thank you for your hope. Thank you for your blood that cleanses all sins. There's no measure of what he can do for you, for me, what he's done for me. And coming back into the family, the transition was very painful. I came back into a home that was very broken. Just to share something, this is personal, my testimony is personal. My daughter comes downstairs and asks me to fix something. Oh yeah, I can fix that. She's like, no, you can't do anything. You can't fix this, I'll go fix this myself. And that hurt so bad that my daughter would say that to me, that I can't do anything. She's still seeing the old me. She didn't understand of the transition that happened. I asked God, I said, what are we doing? What do I do in this situation? I ruined this child's life. He said, just follow my voice. He put it on my heart to pray with them and read the little Bible story every single night with her and my son, Ethan. Stella and Ethan, we would pray and read the Bible every single night. Our relationship was restored, like we never left off, like we never missed a beat. With my wife, when the heated moments would happen, the devil would attack me to go back to drugs. I even left the house a couple times, heated, mad. And I got as far as the park, which is literally across the street. And I didn't feel God with me anymore. And I got so scared. I'm like, God, where are you? Where are you? I don't want to go anywhere without you. And he said, I'm at home fighting for your marriage. Started crying like a baby. Turned the car right around. Went home. Humbled myself. I let God fight for my marriage. And still fighting for my marriage. Still fighting for my kids. The devil's out to get our kids. The devil's out to get our family. The devil's out to get our wives, to destroy them. I hear so many divorces, so many different things. I want to tell you right now, no matter where you are, just stop. Stop and listen. And hear what God has to say about your marriage and about yourself. The devil is always going to make the other person, make yourself feel right, the other person feel wrong. Accusing. I'm here to say that God can change any situation. I'm here to testify. As you can see, in a short period of time, I have my own trucking company, and this is all because of God. Everything I have is because of Him, and everything's for Him. And I'm so thankful, and I hope and pray that this message gets across to those who need it. I hope this inspires somebody, no matter how lost you are, no matter how broken you are, no matter how much the devil lied to you, saying that you can't do it, or you're too far gone. God is restoring. He gave me a new heart. He gave me a new body. He's renewing my mind every single day. He's changing me every single day. The closer I get to Him, the better my life is. Every day, we have to surrender. Every day, we have to work on ourselves. I'm Elijah, and this is my story for His glory. All right, you guys.